The quarterfinals are officially over, and holy crap, what was that? Three out of the four games going to overtime in nail biters with a dominant win from Slovakia over Germany, proving that their 2022 bronze was no fluke and they should go for possibly gold this year. Who knows? This quarterfinal round was just incredible, and you couldn't really ask for much more. Team Canada's game was terrifying, and I don't think I'll recover by the time the semifinals play, but let's break it down anyway. Going into this game against Czechia, clearly these teams did not like each other, and this was going to be a rough one. Radko Gudas coming out going after Tom Wilson about his actions against Team France in Canada's last round robin matchup. Marty Necas being very, very confident in how Team Czechia would defeat Team Canada. And under all of this is the understanding that in the last three World Junior Championships, Team Czechia has eliminated Team Canada when they were going for gold, one of those being in the nation's capital. This rivalry is heating up, no pun intended, but you could just tell that before going into this game, it was going to be a lot different than other games between these teams at best on best. Going into the first period, it was really, really good for Team Canada to start off. Macklin Celebrini scoring on a beautiful Connor McDavid pass, making that Connor McDavid's 8th assist and 10th point of the tournament so far, and Macklin Celebrini's 5th goal of the tournament, both players only having played 4 games so far. No big deal. But that was not the whole story of the first period. 2 goals by Czechia followed by Lukas Sedlak and David Pastrnak streaking in on a power play. This was getting scary for Canada. I mean, having PTSD, having flashbacks. This isn't putting out Gavin McKenna. This isn't putting out Michael Misa. This might be putting out Connor McDavid, Nathan McKinnon, Kel McCarr, Macklin Celebrini, and possibly Sidney Crosby in his last Olympics. This is scary. Now, the first period was also defined by one other thing, and that was how rough the play was. Teams were not pulling punches. They were not pulling hits. They were finishing hits. They were going for it. This meant everything to both these teams, and you can tell this is a true rivalry now. Not only did the overwhelming offense go into the second period, but this one was going to be defined by 2 things. It was going to be defined by very good defensive and goaltending play, only giving 1 goal in the second period, giving it to Nathan McKinnon on a power play. Beautiful shot through the slot, goes off a Czechia player, right post and in. Kind of unexpected, but it was beautiful to see tied up. We can breathe. It was also defined by this rough game, this rivalry, blowing its top. This was insane. It got crazy in the second period. High sticks that weren't called, checks that weren't called, accusations of Nathan McKinnon diving on a power play just to get a penalty. And the scariest of all, Sidney Crosby, the life and blood of the Canadian team, being targeted on a shift with 4 brutal hits from not only Radko Gudas, but also Marty Necas, with refs standing right there to see the infractions being called, not calling them, and eventually having Sidney Crosby leave the ice with a lower body injury. This was an interesting place for Canada to be at the end of the second period. Obviously, you can tell there was hostility between these two teams, but you just saw the lifeblood of your team, your captain, Sidney Crosby, walk to the dressing room, and that is scary. This team, have been dominating you in junior levels, and are playing better than you. And this is terrifying because you have so much weight on your shoulders and so much pressure to perform, especially with what I believe the best roster in the world right now. I can only imagine how they were feeling. The third period begins, and this is possibly one of the most insane and controversial periods of hockey I have ever seen. This was madness. High sticks, penalty on both sides not being called, posts, crossbars, brutal play. And then 12 minutes and 18 seconds into the third period, something incredible happens. Devin Taves tries to go for a shot from the blue line, tries to get it through the slot, get through traffic, maybe to the net, finds himself on Thomas Hertl's stick after a beautiful block from a Czechia defender, passes it up to a streaking Marty Necas, passes it back to another streaking Andre Palat, and puts it just over the right pad of Jordan Binnington. Czechia takes the lead. They all lose their mind. They crowd into the boards. Canadians all over Canada are crying and in pain. Oh my God, it's just like the juniors. These teams owns us. It's over. There were 6 players on the ice for Team Czechia. As many probably know by now, at one point, even 8 players were on the ice during this offensive rush. But as the goal went in, as Andre Palat put in that possibly game-winning goal, there were 6 Czechia players on the ice, and that was proven because when they celebrated, there were 6 players in the huddle. They were celebrating with 6 players. I don't know if, the refs who ref the Olympics, the IIHF, they might know a little bit about hockey. You're not allowed to do that. That's a penalty. And this could have been horrible. If this is what put out Sidney Crosby and possibly his last Olympics, a Canadian legend, if this is what put out Connor McDavid, Nathan MacKinnon, Macklin Celebrini, Cale Makar, to name a few, on a bench penalty that was missed, it would have been an immediate nightmare. Canada would have exploded. This would cause a riot. But Nick Suzuki didn't want that. He thought, they can play 6 players, 7 players, 8 players. Who cares? I'm the captain of the Montreal damn Canadiens. And I'm going to make a beautiful tip in front, make up for missing a wide open net earlier, Nick. And look at that. It's tied 3-3. And this game's going to shootout. Nope, overtime. What to say about overtime? It was scary. A couple great chances for both sides. And once that first line got off, I'm always surprised that it's 3-on-3. It's very interesting. With this level of talent, I don't think it should be 3-on-3. There's too much talent on the ice. Of course, it's very exciting, but you want to see more plays come together, right? They did 4-on-4 in 2010, and that's what led to that Sidney Crosby goal, right? You take Jerome McGinley off that, maybe that's 3-on-3. You don't get the golden goal. Just saying, 3-on-3 is kind of scary for me with this amount of talent. When that first line went off, I was kind of scared, and then I remember he passed it to Mitch Marner, and me and multiple of my friends, I'm a Sens fan, but multiple of my friends are Leafs fans, we were like, damn, Mitch Marner, he's not known for being clutch. Oh my God. It could have been 3-on-1, it could have been 4-on-1, it could have been 5-on-1, it could have been an 8-on-1 if they really felt like doing that again. And oh my God, Mitchell Marner, what a guy. Dangles through all 3 Czechia defenders and roofs it. The bar I was at exploded. Team Canada goes crazy. Oh, Canada opens up in the bar. We're all singing, oh, Canada. It's a beautiful thing. And all seems right in the world. And now we move on to the semifinals. Finland, Canada. It's going to be a tough one, but I'm glad we could see it. Kudos to Team Czechia. Incredible game from them. They played amazingly. Shout out to mainly Lucas Dostal. He played incredibly. Marty Necas was really quick. David Pastrnak put in a few good goals, a few good assists. Really, Lucas Dostal, that guy had an insane tournament. He made Team Canada's life hell. But they're out. Team Canada's in. And now we're going to see if we can beat the Finns. Go Canada, go, baby.